Good morning, welcome to today's video. We are in Otaru in Hokkaido. Just getting out of the city now. I'm over here with my brother for a family holiday and we decided to bring our bikes. Traffic here in the city is a little bit crowded, but hopefully once we get into the mountains then it'll quieten down. Today's road apparently has some nice switchbacks, so looking forward to that. It's a little bit of a logistical nightmare getting our bikes out from the hotel, because when we arrived our bikes were in the car and we didn't realize that the lift that they would be using is the automated one. So we left our bikes in the car overnight, and this morning we had to bring the car down, get the bikes out of the car, set it up in the car park waiting area, and then after that put the bikes in the reception. And then later on when we get back to the hotel, we got to go to the reception to ask for our bags, load the bikes into the bag, and then put the bag at the reception and ask them to keep it for us overnight. Our room is also a little bit small, so we can't really put the bikes inside there, even if they allowed us to. Well, this is part and parcel of traveling with bikes, I guess. It's not always going to be smooth, and along the way there will always be issues. Weather today is great, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be blue skies and sunny days with a high of 13 degrees. This climb is 8 kilometers long with 400 meters of elevation at an average of like 6%. But the nice part is that it has many switchbacks. I have to say, climbing is tough and painful, but it's just something about it that makes it so enjoyable. I don't know if it's like the scenery or the cold air or just having something to push against the pedals, or maybe it's like the slow struggle of using every muscle to pull yourself up, which makes it so sweet at the end. Ironically, it's getting warmer as we go up because of the effort, and because we're wearing so many layers to keep ourselves warm, so we start to sweat inside. And then when we start to descend, wow, it gets so cold. I find that is the biggest challenge for me when I ride overseas. It's knowing how to regulate the temperature, knowing what to wear for the different conditions, and then being able to layer on and off flexibly. It must be really nice to have mountains in your backyard where you can just wake up, get the fresh cold air and then go for a climb. In the past, whenever I go to a new place, I tend to always explore the cafes in the area and try different coffee places. But nowadays it seems whenever I travel, I just look for the places with the nicest roads and then I go ride them. So one thing I found from the little time that I've spent riding in Japan so far is that riding here can be a bit intimidating. What I mean is that the traffic is actually quite heavy. There are quite a lot of cars and trucks, and when they do pass, they don't really give much of a clearance. They go right past me. Even though I'm already riding on the road shoulder, sometimes if I stretch my arm out, I can literally touch them. I think that might be due to the fact that there are not many cyclists over here, so they are not really familiar. There are also quite a lot of tunnels like these, but the good thing is that they're quite well lit. So some of you have messaged me to ask how I plan my routes when I go for overseas rides. For Europe, I usually use something like Epic Road Rides. They've helped me quite a lot for the trips that I've been on recently. But for a place like Hokkaido, when I tried to look it up online, I couldn't really find a lot of good resources for proper road cycling. A lot of the suggested routes were like from the hotel or from the city, take a 10-kilometer loop, which meant that I have to rely on the good old method of going to Google Maps, looking around from the accoms and the surrounding areas, look for any nice windy roads, and then use Google Street View to see whether there are actually nice pavements or not. It is a very manual process and it's also very time consuming, but usually the results are quite rewarding at the end of it. Just got down from the mountains, so we're back in urbanization. We're staying at this place called Otaru, so it's a bit like a seaside town. A lot of seafood. I think there's a fresh market as well, but we didn't get to check it out because by the time we arrived yesterday it was closed already. So we might do that for the rest of the day. I didn't get to film much in the mountains because it was so windy and cold. My hands were freezing even with the gloves, and I was trying to keep my bike as upright as possible even with two hands. It was crazy conditions, but now the sun is out and it's very, very nice. Okay, and so we're back at the Lawson where we first started this morning, opposite our hotel. It's been a nice long ride, a little bit cold and torturous in the middle because of the wind, but definitely more enjoyable than, you know, I'm gonna say back home. At least the weather here is cold and I'm never gonna complain if it is too cold rather than too hot. Also, the terrain is quite interesting, much better than just city riding. I guess I've been a little bit undermotivated the last few months because it's mostly been riding in Singapore and there isn't really a lot of inspiration to film. But I think I got that motivation back